Alright, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel Connor on Chains. So, in this video, guys, I want to make this video talking about how I'm approaching 2025 in the crypto market, because, there have been many things that I did very well, many things that I did bad, just over the last few months, even in the last year. It's been a good time over the last few months to reflect on, I guess just everyone and your own performance in the market, things that you've done well, things that you haven't. So I want to cover some stuff, I guess, just regarding on how I want to approach the market, because the biggest thing to me going forward is going to be, one, risk management, and two, understanding these narratives, because narratives come and go so quick in crypto. There's so many factors that contribute to them, and I think trying to time them and be in and out is probably going to be the best thing that you can possibly do going forward. So I'll give you guys a rundown of, how things went, I guess, for me in our group just over the last few months. So, for me, I feel like I've been pretty good on catching narratives, early on. I'd say the most notable one we'll talk about is going to be AI agents with, Virtuals protocol, just over the last, 4, 5, 6 months. So, with that narrative, there are many things I feel like I did well, many things that I did not do well. So the first thing I think that we did well was the fact that we were in this narrative well before anyone. I don't know what it was, but I just saw the potential of what AI agents were going to be in the market, kind of just when, I don't want to say I wasn't the first one to do it, but when that GOAT coin, the ticker GOAT, once that started to get pretty prominent in the market, this is when, in my mind, I was realizing, okay, well, we have a lot of these AI-based meme coins, these AI agent-type meme coins on the market, but I knew for a fact that eventually people were going to start trying to pivot to AI agents that were kind of backed, by better projects or, different teams, basically looking for more fundamentally strong agents and or infrastructure. And that is where I found Virtuals protocol. I kind of saw a lot of those agents early. I'm not trying to make a video like, oh, I'm the earliest to narratives, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. But we found those, I guess, I don't know how to explain it, but we found them early, right? And the thing is we were definitely ahead of the curve as far as whether it's crypto Twitter, crypto YouTube, whatever you want to call it. I feel like I was looking into those a lot earlier than everyone. And again, that's not to boast about being early. It's the fact that this is how you kind of have to play crypto. You need to try to identify where attention is going to flood into. And that's, I think we did pretty well on that. But there were many things that I feel like I did very wrong with that as well. Because when it comes down to narratives at least that we've seen in crypto this bull run, it has not been, this cycle where you could buy any single coin in the market and it's going to 25x overnight. I feel like previous cycles were more so like that. And I think mainly because a lot of really good projects, fundamentally sound projects, are built on Ethereum, and we haven't seen ETH do anything this cycle, really. It had pumps on and off at the beginning of the year, like last year. So being in AI agents, the thing was with these narratives, we were in it before anyone even was talking about it, before anyone even realized the value of it. And the thing is when a narrative actually grows, it comes from the rest of crypto Twitter, the rest of YouTube, the rest of everyone in crypto that's not paying attention to the narrative, coming into the narrative and starting to jump into it and look into it and claiming it's going to be the next, $20 billion, narrative. We saw that with meme coins too. Memes, I definitely wasn't early on memes, but we did very well until the whole market kind of decided to nuke, meme coins died. That's a whole different thing too, but similar idea. is the fact that if you are in a narrative when most of crypto Twitter is not paying attention to it, and crypto YouTube, usually that's a sign that you're probably looking in the right area if you've identified a value prop for the narrative. But again, when the entire crypto industry, major YouTubers, major people on Twitter, never focused on, the specific narrative at all, and they start jumping into these coins and talking about them and bringing them up. To me, right then and there, that is one of the biggest signs that I saw in real time. When a narrative is actually coming more so to a top. And the thing with that too is I saw this happening. And this is why in many of my videos, if you watch, it's like I told you guys how up only virtual was, and how you probably should not be buying virtual as a long-term investment at that point, because it's already ran up only, and attention was starting to flood like 100% all over agents and stuff, And to me, the thing is I feel like I did very well, kind of just letting that ride out, not really full porting anything when the narrative's hot. But my problem was I have consistently thought it's been a good idea to be buying back into a narrative once the narrative dies, once the hype dies. And it seems like this cycle has just done the complete opposite. Is once a narrative has died, it really dies out and it looks like it's not coming back. Because for me, it's like I bought back into virtual, and a lot higher. Because for me, I was like, okay, I'm waiting for virtual to have a massive correction, waiting for it to chill out, for agents to kind of have a huge correction, and they did, and they ended up doing that. So then I started to buy back in, but the thing is obviously, in addition, the entire market was dumping to zero, and, the AI agent narrative just consistently kept going down, even after having a correction. It had a correction on top of a correction, That has been a big thing for me where, it's like, that is one problem I've identified. You cannot be buying into a hype narrative after it is dead. The best way to play this market out going forward is you need to identify a narrative, a niche, whether it's an ecosystem, a new chain, whatever the hell it is. When close to zero people are looking at it, paying attention to it, if you can identify really good projects within this ecosystem, within this narrative, again, while no one is looking at it, and if it becomes a major narrative, you are in basically at the bottom, not bottom price-wise, you are in at the bottom attention-wise. And that is where you need to play it, on attention. If the market, again, if no one's focusing on it, that's when you want to be in, and you want to go in fairly heavy. Yes, it's going to feel very high risk, but the thing is the risk to reward, if it actually plays out, is you basically are waiting for all of the attention from the rest of the crypto space to start looking into this coin, looking into this narrative, looking into this ecosystem, potentially jumping into it as everything's starting to go up, But that is going to be when you start scaling out. You jump in at the lows when attention is zero, when everyone on crypto is talking about a narrative, a chain, an eco. That is when you start selling. A lot of people take it as a buy signal when, everyone in the crypto space making videos, making threads, tweets on a specific narrative that's been hot for a month plus. That people take it as a sign sometimes to buy, but in my opinion, if you are not fully early on a narrative like that, you got to play it a lot more safe in that aspect. So I guess just to recap what I was saying is, bottom line, to play it out, you need to catch these narratives earlier than anyone. You need to basically mess around with new chains, new ecosystems, identify where, even like trends, like I like to do, how I'm talking about robotics. I don't fully see how robotics can and will be integrated into crypto like that, but I just have a gut feeling at some point, I think in some way, shape, or form, there's going to be a pump based on robotics, because it's a narrative that minimal people in crypto even realize could be a thing. No one is paying attention to it, And if and when, let's say Nvidia drops even more info, they start launching robots. Tesla drops their Optimus robot for sale. We see robots starting to be used, left and right, all over the place. Eventually it's going to spark attention, and people are going to be like, oh shit, robotics actually might be a trend right now. And that's where you want to be early to something. You need to take that bet in crypto. Because again, when the attention is near zero in crypto, that is when you jump into stuff. And let's say let's say in 3 months, robotics becomes the #1 narrative in crypto somehow. Let's say we just see a bunch of different projects launching robots. I have no idea. I don't even think that'll happen, but let's say half the crypto space, if not most of the crypto space, people are talking about physical AI is the biggest narrative. That is going to be a time when we start selling and jumping out of everything based on robotics. Because again, in crypto, it is full speculation. You are making money in this market by being early to where attention isn't, and getting out when attention is maxed out on something. Again, it could be a chain, it could be an ecosystem, it could be a narrative, it could be anything, right? It could be a new consumer app, right? Like a fucking, what was that one that went to zero? It was on base. Oh, Friend Tech. It could be something like that, like SocialFi, whatever the hell it is. You need to be early and sell when attention is all over that project, that eco, that chain. That is how I want us to fully play. I say us, like I'm talking about me, our group, and honestly anyone that's watching this, because I think it's just, you really have to understand how to fully play this market, especially when the sentiment is obviously not the greatest, when this bull run is not played out like others. It's been difficult to make money in many ways, right? But when the market flips again, if you are early on things, that is how you will make the most money. And taking those speculative higher risk bets. And again, I'm not talking about jumping into a new launch at 200K market cap, with half your portfolio, thinking this is going to run to 25 million. But no, you gotta make sure you're jumping into some fundamentally strong stuff. Have a full thesis behind why you're buying this stuff, and just take that risk. That is how, I'm going to be playing this market. That's why I like robotics. Even though robotics, I guess in a way, you kind of classified into D-pin to a point, but that's why I'm taking a bet on that. And also, I think RWA, I just made a video on it yesterday, the day before, kind of saying the same thing. I just think RWA is the perfect narrative gearing up for what the market is wanting right now. Incredibly strong fundamentals. Obviously, a lot of RWA projects I really don't think are building anything worthwhile, but there are definitely a handful of very strong ones, and very strong ones from an investment standpoint, because there are a lot of good RWA projects with terrible tokenomics, bunch of bullshit happening with them, But if you kind of combine all of that in, you're early to these narratives, and while charts and prices are pico bottomed out, sentiment is bottomed out, kind of just jump into it at the lows, make your thesis, make your bets, and when things start running and attention goes crazy on a specific narrative that you're in, that is when you want to start selling. And when you sell, never look back. Just sell the coin as it's in the green, and you need to literally just forget about it. That's it. Sell the coin. Don't even look at it. Don't think that it's going to go higher than it has, even if it's done a few X's for you, or if it's done 10, 20X. I would sell 100% and don't look back, because the thing is too, is you can always wait to buy a massive dip. Always buy in the red, buy when things are bottomed out, and and sell when candles are literally like this. If a coin does a 25, 30, 40X and it's heavy in the green, people get crazy FOMO. But you have to understand that almost every time a coin does that, if a narrative pumps, you have coins that just pull 20x overnight or over a week. You know, I look at like MLG, for example, that was a great call that we had in our group. Same thing, that shit pumped like crazy. But the thing is, you know, I mean, I don't think anyone expected it to nuke the way it did. But more than likely, when a coin pulls 40x, usually if you get out on those God candles and just be patient, if you wait 3, 4, 5 months, yeah, it's a long, very long time. But many times, the project will be close to back to your entry months later, especially if the market decides to cool off, things happen. You know, you need to be selling the God candles, and in your mind, make it a rule to be like, okay, I've just sold here. I don't care if it goes higher. I don't care if it pulls another 10x or if it just starts dumping, because you just made a 5x, 10x, 15x on this pump. You can always buy back in when it dumps, worst case. You know, that mindset right there is what has helped me a lot on when coins pump like crazy and I get FOMO and I want to buy back in because, oh, it's going to keep going. Bro, you just know if you sell into green, even if you don't make the money that you thought you could, you can always wait for a dip. But in that sense too, like I said, many narratives, you don't want to be buying into dips anymore on these, you know, corrections when they happen, you know. So that is going to be very important going forward, you know. And I think too, like, just risk management as well. You know, cutting losses fairly early is going to be very important, because that is something I feel like I just have not done great in many ways. You know, because even for me, it's like I bought coins, you know, it's part of like how I operate in my strategy. But, you know, it doesn't mean that holding a coin down 90%, you know, is the best thing to do. You know, it's horrible. But in many ways, you know, cutting losses early is going to be key. That in and of itself is also very hard to know, but that's where you got to keep your emotions out of the market. Very important. But, you know, outside of that, that's what I wanted to cover. Just talk about a few things with the market, because I feel like the sentiment is slowly flipping here. Don't know if we're going to see recovery pump, you know, into late end of March into April, or, you know, if we just get a pump up into, you know, another downside move. But I just feel like it's important to cover this stuff, guys. So outside of that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.